Please give it up for Aaron Einhorn. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it.
I spent months holding ice cubes in my fist. They were so cold. The pain radiated up my arm, but I couldn't let go. I wouldn't let go. I was in training. The ice cubes were part of a class I was taking to learn how to suffer through agony. Because I was pregnant with my first child and determined to give birth naturally without pain medication as a way of connecting with the past. By that point in my life, I'd spent more than a decade researching my mother's story as a hidden child in the Holocaust. I'd written a book about getting to know the family that saved my mother's life by hiding her in Poland. And in the process, I'd spent a lot of time thinking about the people who came before me. I'd found my mother's birth certificate and thought a lot about the day, February 24th, 1942, when my grandmother, 21 years old, gave birth to a Jewish baby in the ghetto at a time when she and nearly everyone she'd ever known was about to die a violent and horrific death. I thought about her mother and grandmother and great-grandmother, this line of women who had endured so that I, in 2011, could take my turn as the one to give birth to the next generation. And none of those women had had access to pain medication. To connect with them, I wanted to feel what they had felt. And so I held ice cubes, one after another, until they melted in my hand like tiny little puddles of pain. But I wanted to be ready. And when my time came, I was ready. You know, the contractions came tearing across my back. But I breathed. I screamed, I howled, and it was working. You know, they say if you want to avoid pain medication, you should labor at home as long as possible. And I didn't go to the hospital until I was 8 centimeters dilated. Almost there. My doctor's like, wow, you're doing great. Like, keep going. And I did. Only now, in the hospital, the contractions are coming faster and harder, and the pain is, crippling. I am on my knees. But I pictured my grandmother's face. My mother never knew what her own mother looked like until I found a photo of her in an archive. And it turns out she looked a lot like me. She had done this. I could do it too. So I kept going. I kept breathing through the pain. A couple hours later, the doctor checks on me, and she's like, wow, okay, this is going so well, you know. I think we'll have this baby by breakfast. And I was so proud of myself until I looked at the clock and saw that it was 10 p.m. I'm like, what time do you have breakfast? It's the strangest thing. I had spent months preparing for this moment. I had held so many ice cubes. But somehow I never really understood exactly how long it takes for a first-time mother to give birth to a baby. On TV, they always wrap that up in like half an hour, you know? But now I'm staring down the prospect of 6, 8, 10 more hours of excruciating, debilitating pain? And I'm like, what am I doing? I am a person who takes an Advil at the first sign of a tiny little headache. I drink wine. I drink booze. I love being separated from my pain. And so I turned to the doctor, and I said the only thing that made sense in that moment, which was, is it too late for an epidural? It was not too late. And the epidural they gave me was so effective, I never felt another contraction. I had to watch the fetal monitor to know when to push. And later, I did feel a twinge of regret, a sadness that I'd missed out on this rare opportunity to connect with my ancestors. But here's the thing about that birth. It was exactly 13 years ago today. Oh, wow. Thanks for that. My daughter is actually sitting right over there. Hi, honey. She's celebrating her 13th birthday by watching me tell this story. And in a few weeks, she will do something that my grandmother and great-grandmother never could have done. She will stand up in our synagogue and read from the Torah and celebrate her bat mitzvah. Now, my grandmother and great-grandmother, they couldn't read from the Torah because until recently that was something that only men could do. It turns out that we don't have to honor our ancestors by feeling their pain. We can honor them by doing things they never imagined. We can stand as equals with men. We can give birth without suffering. And we can save the ice cubes for a glass of lemonade on a hot summer day. Happy birthday, honey. I love you.
Erin Einhorn, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up.